Welcome. My name is Case Craven. I am honored to be the MC for our time together here, remembering Tom Craven, Karen Fitzpatrick, Jessica Johnson, and Devin Weaver. We come here today with full hearts and numb minds. There are no words to express the mixture of feelings that surrounds each person here today. Sadness for each of the amazing families and courageous people we've met in our lives over these last 20 years. You may notice and feel a range of emotions today. Everyone experiences loss differently, and many show their grief in diverse ways. They may cry, laugh, smile, or stay silent, or sometimes expressionless. You may also notice people showing emotions that they don't usually display. There's no proper way to react today, but what's essential is that you feel comfortable and you're able to express yourself. And that's what we're here today for. We come to stand with the Fitzpatrick family, the Weaver family, my family, the Johnson family, to bear witness to their loss 20 years ago today. The journey of grief is long, and no one should have to walk it alone. We ask you to commit yourself to be present for the families today. Today is a sacred and special moment where we can let tears flow and let laughter heal, where we can share stories and continue the journey of turning those stories into memories. We have speakers today who will provide snapshots of the loved one's time on earth. We will hear music from a fantastic singer who will let our hearts fill with love and remembrance. And we will honor Tom, Jessica, Karen, and Devin as best we can, relaying what changes have happened in firefighting over the past 20 years. After our time together here, you are invited to join us down at the Rosin Brewery, where we will celebrate their lives and others that we have lost over these past 20 years. Like my mom, Virginia, said at the 10-year memorial service, this service is not only for the remembrance of those who died in the 30 Mile Fire, but for all firefighters who have died in the line of duty across the nation. As you entered today, you were given a purple ribbon to wear, and I hope you put it on. Of course, those colors stand for the fallen firefighters, but they are also resemble wings and angel wings to honor and thank each of you for being the wind beneath the family's wings. The families have needed everyone's thoughts and prayers over these past years. As we start our tribute, accept many thank yous and blessings for being here for my family and all other firefighter families across the nation. Would you please welcome my sister Cream to the stage as she continues to welcome.
It's a little more unsturdy than I anticipated. Good evening, and thank you all for coming. What a wonderful show of love and support for Tom, Devin, Jessica, and Karen. This was the right place to hold this memorial. We truly believe that this is the place for all people, related or not related, to come and pay their tribute to all of those firefighters that have lost their lives. Not just only the ones in the 30 Mile, but the ones also who will put themselves in the line of fire each and every day, and those who have lost their lives since 2001. I'd like to just speak briefly about 20 years ago. I attended all of the funerals for Devin, Jessica, and Karen. And the Forest Service remembers their lost lives in the form of how they changed the Forest Service and some of their practices. But I remember the speeches that their families gave and spoke about each of them. And one of the things that I'd like for all of us to walk away with today, moving forward, is how much they loved and took the time to connect and communicate with their families. They had just gotten back from a fire, and within those 24 hours, they called, visited their family members and friends. And I know we live in an era of TV and media. I hope that we will remember their commitment to their families and friends and the value of that connection and communication, and that you will close down that social media, turn that TV off, and call, message, FaceTime all of your family members. Don't put it off, don't wait. The four of them did not. I thank you all for coming. It's beautiful to see everyone here. Thank you.
Attention. Will the audience please rise? Please remove your hats. Color guard for dance. Color guard, prepare to raise the colors. Please recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red leather bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
You may be seated for the opening prayer. We are gathered here today to remember fallen heroes: Tom Craven, Devin Weaver, Karen Fitzpatrick, and Jessica Johnson. These young lives lost in the 30 Mile Fire 20 years ago still leave a scarring impact on each of us, a void that can never be filled. As families, friends, neighbors, and colleagues, we will always be connected through them. It's as though they are like a tree whose roots run deep and whose branches stretch wide and high, connecting all of us left behind. Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, may your Spirit surround Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Devin, and all those whom they loved to your rest in calm, loving presence. And for those of us left behind, we ask that your grace and compassion may bring us peace in knowing that they are in your loving embrace, and that one day you will bring us with them and all your saints into the joy of your eternal kingdom. We pray this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And now will you join me in saying the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Hello, I'm Jerry Porter, and I don't know when I've not known a Craven. When Will and Virginia moved next door to us, it's been 55 years, more or less, hasn't it, Will? Since we've been neighbors. After they made their home next door, I was delighted in watching their family grow. Whenever I saw Will working on a new addition to their house, I'd go over and ask Virginia if they were expecting. Usually they were. I cannot speak of Tom without acknowledging the Pioneer Craven family and their role in Roslyn. The family is and was a huge part of the fabric of our community. Will has led the city as mayor and been mentor of many, myself included. Virginia was keeper of the firefighters, along with their tireless hours spent preserving our cemeteries. And I, for one, really miss her Christmas goodies plate. So, what is a hero? According to Webster, a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Tom was a hero his entire life. As a youth, he led his peers, nudging them to travel the upper road. My mom told me of the times the young Craven boy Tom next door helped her carry groceries, take the yard, rake the yard, or clean the sidewalk after a snowfall. He asked nothing in return, always respectful and friendly. Mom said she'd never seen a more beautiful smile. Now that is a hero. Moving on into high school, Tom earned 11 athletic letters, 4 in football, 4 in track, and 3 in basketball. His coach, Roger Krenning, declared he had the biggest heart and the biggest smile. He set the example by his outstanding achievements and his positive outlook and fairness. His character carried over into his teammates' lives. Now that is a hero. As he moved on to college, he was a standout at the College of the Redwoods and CWU. He broke O.J. Simpson's junior college rushing record. He was no slouch. His daddy said on the field he could turn on a dime. All the while, his life was performed with grace, a sense of humor, and a big shining heart, through and through. Now that is a hero. At CWU, Tom hosted a rap and hip-hop program, Off the Hook, or I'm not sure how to say it, at KCWU radio station on Friday nights. Thus, he was well known on campus. After his death, I learned of his involvement with crisis management. That wasn't common knowledge. However, the students would come and tell me how they would reach out to him and received a helping hand. Now that is a hero. Tom was a family man. His wife and children were the joy of his life, recounted by those that knew him best. He was always also concerned about his mom, dad, and siblings. Once again, in his personal life, he was definitely a hero. Tom's career in firefighting began in 1990. He advanced to squad boss in charge of a 5-member crew. Tom was said to befriend the new and the shy, giving his co-workers nicknames to help them feel welcome. In 2001, while battling the 30-mile fire in the North Cascades, the blaze surrounded Tom and his crew. They stayed to the end. Their sacrifice was the ultimate stand to protect us all. We are and will be forever grateful. Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Devin are definitely heroes. Thank you. We'll never forget you.
Next in the program, we were supposed to have Vicki Miner, who is part of the Wildland Firefighter Foundation, and she is ill and wasn't able to make it, but she sent us a statement, and Cheryl Focelli will read that at this time.
grateful to be here today, if only in spirit and not in body. I'm Vicki Miner, and I want to thank all of you who have made the journey to come here to honor Tom, Devin, Jessica, and Karen on the 20th anniversary of the 30 Mile tragedy. I am the founder of the Wildland Firefighter Foundation. When I started this foundation, I didn't know anything about nonprofits or how they operated. What I did know was the suffering that comes after tragedies. I knew that there would be a shortage of money, and I knew that there would be long periods of grief for the families of firefighters affected. People say time heals all wounds, but it doesn't really. It just softens the edges of grief. You never forget, and your hearts never stop hurting when someone you love dies. When the 30 Mile tragedy happened, the Wildland Firefighter Foundation was in its infancy. We were all still learning how best to help families. As I look back at that time and the years after, Tom's mother, Virginia, often comes to mind. In spite of her own grief, she continuously reached out to other families who lost firefighters, sending cards and letters of support. Those incredible acts of kindness and compassion still deeply touches me. She and a few others helped me grow and gain a deeper understanding of what families needed. At that time, the foundation was in a small room in my home. The need just kept growing and growing to help families of the fallen and injured wildland firefighters. The foundation has now grown to an international organization. Its assistance and programs have also grown. We now are supporting firefighters suffering from physical and emotional challenges that are linked to their service. We have been able to help firefighters whose homes burn down while they're out trying to protect other people's homes. I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to Tom's mother for all that she gave me and taught me through the loss of her beloved son. She inspired me to broaden our support. I appreciate so much the invitation to be part of this memorial. I hope you spend the rest of this day telling stories and enjoying each other's company. With love and respect, Vicki.
Next up is Laura Shadid, Kittitas County Commissioner.
I'll have to raise the microphone for myself. I'm just going to stand here for a minute and take this in and just thank the Craven family and all of the people in our community here in Roslyn, the Upper County, and the state of Washington for remembering the people that we've defined as heroes and who gave their lives to protect not only the firefighters that they serve with, but also the people who live nearby. I want to personally how great it was to watch him on the football field and just what a great person he was. But I did write something down, so I'll share that with you. Tom Craven and the other 3 firefighters are the definition of true heroes. It takes a very special person to put their life on the line to protect the life of others. Their service will be remembered and their memories honored because of their selfless bravery. The 30 Mile fire has left its mark on history. The conditions these firefighters were in are being addressed today in communities at risk of wildfire such as Kittitas County. Since this tragic event, we have addressed many of the factors that create deadly conditions. Some of these include the roadways that lead in and out, one way in and out of communities, the fire-wising efforts that are occurring, as well as restoring our forests. Tom Craven, Karen Fitzpatrick, Jessica Johnson, and Devin Weaver will always be remembered and honored in Kittitas County for their selfless act of bravery,
Not a day goes by that I don't see their plaque in the Kittitas County Courthouse and think about them, their families, and the legacy they have left behind. Thank you.
Next up is State Representative Tom Dent.
Maybe I do. I didn't know I looked that old. Wow, there's quite a passel of folks here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm truly honored. The Craven family that you've asked me, I honestly have never met any of you until today. And it's an honor to be here and to share some words with you. I'd like to express my thanks and appreciation on behalf of all those who live in the 13th Legislative District in the state of Washington for the sacrifice that you and many other families have made on behalf of us all. Every year, every wildfire season, men and women leave their homes and their families to protect our natural resources, our communities, and our lives. They protect us despite not meeting or knowing us. It's a service done with courage, fortitude, and strength. It's a service that comes with great sacrifice. And those we are honoring here today pay the ultimate sacrifice to keep others safe. We'll remember them always and salute them as heroes. Now I'm going to give you a little background on Tom here so you understand something that has happened to me because of these things. I grew up in the desert. I live in Moses Lake and I've spent my entire life in the desert. And I don't understand this country like this. And one of my best friends lives in the trees. He calls me his desert rat and his flatlander buddy, okay? Because this is a different country. But I did know that when I was first elected, something I really knew was that there was something inherently wrong with burning up our natural resources. And I felt compelled and called to see what I could do in my time in the legislature to make a difference. So I immediately jumped in with both feet and had many folks tell me where I was going wrong, but that's never slowed me down a lot. But I continued on. And my first year was 2015, and then that year we lost 3 firefighters up at Twist in August of 2015. So I was invited to go to the memorial service in Wenatchee. And that was one of the most moving experiences of my life. Those young men, Richard, Tom, and Andrew, gave their lives fighting a fire for people just like you and I. And it really touched me to the point that I knew that we have to be better than this, and we have to do more than this. For these wonderful people that have given, they gave us the ultimate sacrifice. They gave us everything. And I'm from the Vietnam era, and I lost a lot of friends in Vietnam. But nothing touched me like it did that day in Wenatchee. So in the next year or so, the Jolly Mountain Fire, we all remember that. And I came up here with DNR, and they took me up on the hill to look at it. It was 1,000 acres at that time. And this was the first time I had ever been next to a forest fire. And it touched me like I couldn't believe. I did not understand the power of a fire like that. I did not understand what it was like. And I stood on that hill, 3/4 of a mile away probably, thinking, how do you fight something like this? How do you do that? Yet these firefighters that we're honoring here today, well, I'm standing up there thinking about it at the time of people that ran down there and did something about it. I could feel the heat from where I was standing. And I can't imagine what it would be like to go down there and try to battle something like that and put up with that kind of, those kind of atmospheric and environmental conditions. We're all getting out of the way and getting our stuff and moving out of the way so we don't get hurt, and they're running to the fire. And that takes courage, bravery. And they are heroes, there's no doubt. Humble people. Most of our first responders are humble people. Oh, they may not seem like it when you talk to them, but they're humble because they're serving us. They're not talking about that part. They might use their egos, and like we all do at times, but they're humble people, keeping us safe because that's what they do, because they have a heart of service. And these are the kind of folks that we're here today to honor. In the last several years, Washington State has seen some of the most severe wildfires that we've ever seen. Last year, we saw fires consume over 700,000 acres. And I have to tell you, I have a hard time getting my head around that. 700,000 acres, that's a lot. I live in the Columbia Basin, and it's 1 million acres, and I kind of know where that is, but that's a little easier to grasp because I have a map. And this is going to take decades to regrow our natural resources because we've been consumed by fire. And you know, it's something that I want you to know. Our work, we must continue our work to prevent and suppress wildfires. It's an ongoing program, and to look for forest health and make it better. We owe it to these people that have given the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives. We owe it to them to continue our work, that we might keep our natural resources safe, and our communities safe, and our friends and neighbors safe. So nobody else has to stand here in the future and go through what we're going through today. We owe that to those folks. We owe that to Richard, Tom, Andrew, Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Devin. We owe that to them. Every single one of them. But more than that, we owe it to the families. We owe it to the Craven family. We owe it to all these families that have lost so much. They're extraordinary people that gave their all. And on July 10th, 2001, they did give their all. And they were sons and daughters, sisters, husbands, fathers, neighbors, friends. Hey, guess what? Just like we are, just like all of us. They were just like us. Just good people. We'll honor and remember you forever. Words will never ease the pain for the families of the fallen. But I hope the families know we stand with you in honoring your loved ones. We have great admiration for their work and dedication to this dangerous profession and the service they provide to keep us all safe. We hold them and you in our hearts today and always. Thank you for having me today. May God bless our firefighters, our families, your families, and everyone here today. Thank you.
Next up, it's an honor for our family to present Kathy Fitzpatrick, the mother of Karen Fitzpatrick.
It's a little steady, but I'm up here. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for coming out here. This is a beautiful gathering. I'm just overwhelmed at the crowd and just the beauty of everyone coming out here. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years, you know. We remember Tom, Jessica, Devin, and Karen with warm and full hearts. We often think about how different our lives might have been if they were still with us. I've been amazed at over the years how different people have stopped me and talked to me. Sometimes they knew Karen, sometimes they knew one of the other firefighters, and they'd remember something about them that was so special, that affected their lives, that they still cherish. And I'm so pleased that they were those kind of people. And it was just an honor to hear all these stories. As a mother, I had an unusual thing to deal with Karen, who felt she had an appointed time to pass on. She came home from school one day at about the age of 15. It was a winter day, and I was in the conversation pit where the fireplace was doing some things, and she came in and she said, "Mom," she says, "I don't know what to do with these high school counselors and teachers, and they want to know where I'm going to college and what I'm going to be and what my career is going to be all about." And she was a girl who walked close to God and had a lot of prayer time. her sister said I still remember the light going on at 5 a.m. and she would be reading the Bible before going to high school. And she had a group of friends there too that really studied the Bible together, a great group of kids. And she says, Mom, I feel like the Lord is telling me that I'm not going to live past a certain age, like to become a full grown adult, like to think about college or think about career. I have an appointed time. And so after she dropped that bombshell, I had to sort of try to absorb that. And, I said, well, Karen, those kind of things are in the hands of God, and just plan anyway, enjoy your life from day to day, love on your friends, and, all those things that we do. And God has a way of taking care of things, and so she did. And I was suggesting some things. So, you want to get into the dental hygiene program in college. You've talked about that. Our neighbor, Dr. Bueller, would love to see you there. So she continued to excel in sports and academics, but she still had this kind of a marking post in her spirit there. And so when she went in to apply and was hired for the Forest Service, and also was going to enroll in fire science in college, that was the most planning I'd seen her do. Fast forward to the actual episode on July 10th, 2001. Not long after, the Forest Service presented us with this huge basket full of cards and letters and beautiful things, expressions of people that had known Karen. And out of that, I pulled a letter from a lady, this woman. She started off the letter with, my husband and I are Christian ministers, and we have a story to tell you. This envelope, I need to backtrack and just mention this. It was in a large white padded mailer with a single red rose running up the left side of it. Beautiful. And I thought first, this is someone that knows Karen. She would put the single red rose on everything. She had this dress labels with the single red rose on the piano keys. She used to love to play the piano. She always had these single red roses kind of symbolizing that her life was gonna open. So here's this flower on the side of this mailer, and but it was not someone that knew Karen. And I'm going to read this letter. Dear John and Kathy Fitzpatrick, my husband and I are Christian ministers, and would like to share this story with you. 2 weeks ago, we began planning a short vacation in Canada when the Lord began to impress upon us to head east of the mountains to Yakima, about a 3-hour drive. I have relatives in Yakima and was feeling that the Lord was directing us there instead. I began to have visions of a highway and the scenery alongside the road. The impressions began to get stronger and stronger. As we prayed and canceled our reservations, we both felt God was guiding us there for some reason, not just family. We arrived on the 12th and saw the newspaper about the fire. I saw their faces and my heart broke. I was tired from the long drive and went to the pool. On my way back, I began singing an unusual song. I felt God's peace all over me, and I heard myself singing about going home to be with God. I wondered if it was about me or someone else. I get a lot of songs for others, and I wondered, she says, I get a lot of songs for others from the Lord. The voice I sang with was quiet and young, like a young girl's voice. Oh, my daughter was listening. I was confused and fell asleep. I woke around 2 o'clock in the morning and felt God was telling me it was not about me, but one of the young girls who died was a Christian, and that God had been speaking to her heart that she would die and go home to be with him, and that she had known about this before she died, as God had told her and given her his peace about it. I told my sister here in Yakima about these things, and she got me your names and addresses. When I was young, I had a death experience. I was absent from my body and present with the Lord. There was no talking with the mouth, only with the heart. Total love.
All I needed to know or understand, every question in my heart was answered instantly. In my heart, Jesus said it was not my time and he was sending me back. It was painful coming back. I wrote this letter up to the point on Saturday the 14th. Early in the morning on the 15th, my sister called and she had been up since 5 a.m., not sure why. She had made a pot of coffee and read the morning newspaper, confirming that she had known ahead of time and God had prepared her heart. She actually had mentioned to the firefighters that day that she felt like this was going to be her day to go be with the Lord. Anyway, I'm enclosing a copy of the words I felt God was sharing with me. There are some areas that you can fill in much better than I. I hope this brings comfort to you during this difficult time. I'm not the greatest singer and a musician in the world, but this is what I got. As my husband and I are headed back home now, the landscape took me with such beauty, and God showed me she had such a love for nature. Sincerely, Ministers in Jesus Christ. The postmark was Auburn, Washington, and I still don't know who they are, but this is the lyrics. She sent me the tape of the song she sang in the voice of a young girl. Going home. Maybe it's my time, and I'm going home to my Father in heaven, who will take me in his arms and hold me closely to his heart, and wipe every tear from my eyes. Maybe that's why I saw old friends last night, and Mary at the grocery store, and Linda at the mall. So many faces and memories to hold. Should I tell them God has told me I'm going home? And why, oh why, do I hear my heart cry, you know it's my time, you know it's my time. I feel like his heart of peace in mine, and I'm ready as I'll ever be. I only want his perfect will for me to do my mother and father know why I do the things I do? Does my family know the reason why I'm acting so strangely? It's my time to go. And I know because my heart tells me so, and his heart is calling me, and I know it's my time to go to my Heavenly Father's home. So that was quite a impactful letter, to say the least. Another thing that goes along this line, getting to a point of time, is like, what could that be? Why? What is? What was the reason? Was there a reason? At the graveside, we had a really close friend. He was also a very close friend of Karen's. He owned a wonderful restaurant in Yakima, a Chinese restaurant we went to often. And he was a friend from Bible study, and he also spent a lot of time in the Word of God and praying, and would have these really amazing heavenly meditations and things. Anyway, Don was pacing around at the graveside. There were ceremonies going on, and he looked very anxious and like something was really troubling him. Later the following week, my husband saw him at the restaurant, and he said, Don, what was the matter with you? What was going on? I said, we were sad for Karen, but what was going on with you? And he said, about a month before this all happened, I had a vision of Karen. She was on her knees, crying out for the salvation of others, but she was surrounded by swirling flames. And I didn't know what that meant, so I didn't talk to anybody about it. And her father said no. She wanted to work for the Forest Service. She was so excited. I don't think it would have deterred her. But anyway, there's a lot in this book. Angel Promises, Remembering the Youngest Firefighter, over 200 pictures in the last moments of the fire, but there's more detail about this. But at that moment that they passed away, a phenomenon occurred. A cloud began to form against the bright blue sky, much like this one, in exactly 30 minutes. The Forest Service got video of it, and Sandor Faher got the exact moment of when the cloud came together in perfect formation. And it appears to have 4 steps. We call that the Stairway to Heaven picture. There's only a few of these. You might want to just pass them along the road. They used to have them at the visitor center. There's only a few in existence now. You can see the 4 rungs that they're on the front of the 30 Mile Fire Memorial brochure, the Stairway to Heaven picture. As she prayed, she had the honor, part of her appointed time. She was on her knees, and I remember Jason Enhoff said, I'll never forget hearing Karen pray. She was on her knees praying with the other 3. With them, praying at their point of eternity, entering the point of eternity. And here this phenomenon, this beautiful cloud appears over them, like the 4 steps. There was times when it was troubling. I miss her deeply, and I'm honored to hear stories from many of her friends. I was doing something at the title company recently, and one of the girls at work there used to know Karen and come to her house, and she had wonderful remembrances of Karen. So just when I think it's over, people still remember the 4 of them. I hear about one or the other, talking to me about how wonderful they remember each one of them for things that they did that affected their lives. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to share because I think it's just so profound. And you can, I don't kind of want to leave you hanging, I only have 5 minutes. You can read more about this in Angel Promises, Remembering the Youngest Firefighter, because there's a lot of wonderful stories in there, but there were more supernatural stories that occurred before, during, and after the fire that are just so amazing. And so I just want to invite you to explore that a little further, because I'm just kind of telling you one little tip of the iceberg here in that one. But they're passing this around if you want to see it. There's the 4 steps. I know you can't see it very well here. And when you fold it all the way out, you're going to see 4 white galloping horses nose to nose, and there's more about what that means. So I can't be up here all day, but anyway, thank you for just letting me share a few thoughts. And it's just an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. I know I speak for everyone here when we really appreciate you sharing your thoughts and all the stuff you've gone through. We can't imagine you and Will and everybody from the whole incident. So we really appreciate it. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. What a tremendous turnout! This is pretty awesome. I'm really glad that you and the Craven family were able to put this together. It means a lot to me and to the U.S. Forest Service. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jason M. Hoff. I'm the Fire Management Officer on the Natchez Ranger District on the Okanagan and Wenatchee National Forest. Today I'll be speaking on behalf of the Forest Service, but more so on behalf of my friendship with Tom, his lasting legacy with the Fire Service nationwide, and more specifically on the Natchez Ranger District. On a warm day in June of 1999, I found myself standing in the vehicle parking area on my first day of work at the Natchez Ranger District with a handful of strangers who were all brand new fire crew members, waiting to be told what to do next. Walking towards us with a purpose comes a large, broad-shouldered man with a blue, long-sleeved Dickies shirt, big, wide eyes, and a beanie cap on. I know I can speak for myself and for the others when I say we immediately felt like we had absolutely no clue what we had just gotten ourselves into. Hard work, enthusiasm, and fun. These are just some of the aspects of Tom's lasting legacy. From that first day, Tom became a mentor. He provided a whole generation of firefighters a model of what hard work looks like, what teamwork looks like, and what real friendship looks like. Tom, myself, and many of you here today have all spent time outside of work together, strengthening our bonds while enjoying Tom's big smile and infectious laugh. It was these times, combined with many first experiences as a firefighter, a young man, that Tom became an integral part of my growth, both in my job and as a man. He was also a big part of how I was able to deal with the tragedy that unfolded 20 years ago today. Deep in the Chewak River Canyon, July 10th, 2001, I spent what came to be the final hours of their lives together with Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Devin. As a group, we headed uphill into the rocks together, as always, following Tom and his leadership and strength. The whole time,
his ability to stay calm and provide comfort to us all was something I will never forget. I am saddened deeply that Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Devin, all young individuals with bright futures, lost their lives that day. I'm also grateful, though, to have had the ability to spend the last moments of life with 4 truly amazing souls, who each have imprinted something special in all of us. This morning in Winthrop, Washington, just miles south of where the incident occurred, the Forest Service hosted a memorial honoring Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Devin. During it, there was discussion on the lessons learned from that incident and incidents since then, and the positive changes that we've made, and to the continued efforts of operating as a learning culture. That incident affected me and many that I work with and many across the nation deeply. And we vow with each other to continue learning and make this a better place, a better Forest Service to work in, and a better fire service as a whole. Finally, as a real-life example of Tom's lasting legacy with the Forest Service, there's an image worn on the backs of 30-plus firefighters who continue to embody a spirit working on fires across the country every year. On the back of the crew shirts we still wear today, there's an image of 6 firefighters hiking up a ridge. One of those firefighters and the leader chosen to be in that photo with us was Tom. When wearing our crew shirts, he is literally with us every day. And with that, we can truly never forget. Will, I would like to present one of these shirts to you so you can share the same image of Tom and the impact and the legacy he leaves behind. Thank you again to the Craven family for giving me this opportunity, for you all for attending, and thank you, Tom.
Next, I'll invite Josephine Howe back up to sing For You I Will.
When you're feeling lost in the night, when you feel your world just ain't right, call on me, I'll be waiting. Count on me, I will be there. Anytime the times get too tough, anytime your best ain't enough, I'll be the one to make it better. I'll be there to protect you, see you through. I'll be there and there is nothing I won't do. I will cross the ocean for you. I will go and bring you the moon. I will be your hero, your strength, anything you need. I will be the sun in your sky. I will light your way for all time. Promise you, yeah, for you I will. I will shield your heart from the rain. I won't let no harm come your way. Oh, these arms will be your shelter. No, these arms won't let you down. If there is a mountain to move, I'll move that mountain for you. I'm here for you, I'm here forever. I will be your fortress, tall and strong. I'll keep you safe, I'll stand beside you right or wrong. I will cross the ocean for you. I will go and bring you the moon. I will be your hero, your strength, anything you need. I will be the sun in the sky. I will light your way for all time. promise you, yeah, for you I will. Oh, for you I will. Lay my life on the line. For you I will fight. Oh, for you I will die. With every breath, with all my soul, I'll give my word. I'll give it all. Put your faith in me, and I'll do anything. Yeah. Oh, I will cross the ocean for you. I will go and bring you the moon. I will be your hero, your strength, anything you need. I will be the sun in your sky. I will light your way for all time. Promise you, yes, for you I will. I promise you, for you I will. Oh, I will cross the ocean for you. I will go and bring you the moon. I will be your hero, your strength, anything you need. I will be the sun in your sky. I will light your way for all time. Promise you, for you I will. Oh, promise you, for you I will. Promise you, for you I will.
You enjoyed that. She will be at the brewery tonight singing even more. Thank you very much. Excellent. Next, we have the presentation of artwork. This artwork that you see here at the end was created by Bob Stone, my cousin. Marlene Batten, Jason Emhoff will present it. Sorry. Go ahead and grab that. They'll put it up on the memorial. Would you please stand for a moment of silence? Thank you. At this time, I would like Corrine Craven, Will Craven, Tamisha Craven, and T-Shawn Craven, the grandkids of Will, to step up, and we will present wreaths to Tom, Karen, Jessica, and Kathy. Thank you for being here. We are going to have you present Kathy's as well. Karen, thank you. Please step up. Corrine will lead you up there with Will. You can just grab them off. You may be seated. We've come to the end of our service, but I wanted to speak on behalf of the family. Talk a little bit about my experience. 20 years ago, I was starting my third season fighting wildfires for the U.S. Forest Service. My brother Ted was working on the local hand crew for Cle Elum and was working on an adjacent fire up by 30 Mile at the time. Tony, my oldest brother, was on a hotshot crew, crisscrossing the country, putting out fires in the Southwest. My other two siblings were off doing their summer jobs and staying busy. But when I found out about the death of my brother, I was at a loss of words. I was confused about how someone I had looked up to my whole life would be in a situation where they would not return home. Being 21, I did not have a suitable mechanism to express how I felt and what was happening around me. Now that I'm older and more in tune with my truth, I can reflect on how the 30 Mile fire has affected me. My dad raised our family to be strong, steadfast, and self-assured, but not arrogant. Our family was well respected, and still is. And our dad demanded that we act so we did not harm what he had built and what his dad had required from him and his 13 siblings. He told us that we needed to surround ourselves with good people and never let others hold us back from what we wanted to achieve. When I look back at my brother Tom and hear stories about how he interacted with his friends and his fire crews, I get a smile on my face. Because he took those characteristics he had learned and embodied and relayed those to those surrounded around him on a daily basis. A few weeks ago, I received an email from Rob Berger, a Bureau of Land Management Fire and Aviation Senior Fire Program Advisor. He's high up. He wrote me and said, I spent 5 years with the Washington DNR from 1995 to 99. And if my memory serves me, I met Tom at one of those interagency fire schools when I was with the DNR. In early 2000, I was working with the Fish and Wildlife Service, and we did some burning with the Forest Service not too far away where Tom, Karen, Devin, and Jessica were lost. At the time of this tragedy in 2001, I finished my degree at Central Washington University and drove back and forth to Yakima for an internship that I had taken. I remember where I was when I heard the news, he says, and I remember all the ribbons, messages, and signs that I saw in Yakima and Ellensburg. After this, I had gone back to finish my degree because I thought it was time to move on from wildland fire. It was this event, the 30 Mile fire, that made me realize that I need to go back to fighting wildfires. I've been with the BLM since 2002, and it was the best choice I could have ever made. I cannot imagine the loss that your family and the families of Karen, Devin, and Jessica have felt since July of 2001. I am sorry for your loss, and I want you to know that I keep your brothers and others in my prayers. Now, for me, this email means a lot, as it shows that the tragedy of the 30 Mile has done some good. As noted by my brother Tony recently in a newspaper article, the deaths of Tom, Devin, Jessica, and Karen led to safety-driven changes within the U.S. Forest Service and our own Department of Natural Resources. Those changes shifted the risk assessment calculus of fire crews in the intervening decades and are an apt tribute to the 4 firefighters killed that day. My mom, Virginia, passed away in September of 2013. If she were here today, she would be orchestrating this whole event and doing it flawlessly. I can tell you, my siblings and I had a lot of fights the last 3 months, getting ready to set this up. I can tell you it is not easy to keep the memorial looking amazing like she used to do. She would come up to the cemetery at least once a day to water the flowers and plants she would plant each year. My sister, who took on that task this year, just recently texted me and was telling me how the local deer had made their presence known in the memorial again, eating all the heads of the plants she had planted. The same complaint I would receive from my mom every summer about those dang deer eating her plants. Now, the event today took some planning and preparation, and we want to thank some people. Tony, Kareen, Ted, and Tim, and our friend Cheryl Ficelli, can you come please stand with me as we thank these people. Now I'm going to recite some people, and I might have forgot a few, but please know that we do care. Mikey Batorik, Carol Baxter, Diana Cox and her daughter Satalia, Tiffany Green, Courtney Reed, Judy Reed Sandretto, Dick Watts, Pat Weaver, Nolan Weiss, City Councilman Jeff Adams, Alex Borick, Kathy Batorik, Kathy drew the picture on the front of the programs. Thank you, Kathy. You're excellent. Our friend Kelly Clift, Kay and Richard Everson, Jeff Jorgensen on the audio, Ben Flowers, Kent Larimer, Sherry Marusa, the Roslyn Cemetery Commission, the Roslyn Downtown Association, our friend John Hine at the Shoemaker Manufacturing Company, our good friend Mark Soderstrom, Robert Stone, our cousin, and the Wildland Fire Foundation, and anyone else who we may have missed. We appreciate every one of you. Like 20 years ago, when our community and even the larger community stepped up to make sure Tom's widow Evelyn and their 2 kids had the needed funds to move forward in life without Tom. The Will Craven family recognizes that and thanks everyone for what they have done and continue to do for our family. I did want to mention 2 more people who are not with us today. First is a longtime friend and neighbor, Kenny Kameyer. Kenny passed away back in March of this year. He was a longtime Forest Service employee and was one of my favorite coworkers. He was there for our family when the 30-mile occurrence happened. He was always willing to help everyone he encountered, and he will be dearly missed. Next is a family friend, Clara Delatorre. Clara recently passed away in a motorcycle crash. Clara was a longtime DNR employee and a good friend of both Tony and Tom. She was one of the most loving people we knew, and she made friends everywhere she went. In 2001, Clara painted this portrait you see here for the memorial with Tom, Devin, Karen, and Jessica. She would do anything for our family, and we thank her.
I just want to add that Clara Delatorre had come to our house and she said, I really want to do a painting of Tom and Devin, Jessica, and Karen. And she said, I want to do it in the way that I believe they are now sitting watching us. And she said, did you guys have any thoughts or ideas about what you wanted? We said,
Unscheduled program change.
what can I say? We said, my mom and dad said, no, you do it the way you feel. And she said, okay. And this is how she viewed them, looking down on everyone every day as they have passed, but still together, watching us.
At this time, we have concluded our event. And we invite everyone to stick around and visit the memorial for a bit. And then after that, we'll head down to the Roslyn Brewery for a post-event reception. There's, over there at the kiosk, they still have soda and water if you need one. And let me finish by saying thank you everyone for being here. The families of the fallen appreciate it, and Godspeed. Thank you.